All right. Hello, everybody. We are here. Welcome to all students, parents, service providers, friends of friends, Pathway staff, past, present, future, any celebrities who may be watching, anyone who's verified on Instagram. If you want to give us a follow, that'd be great. Or on YouTube. We're on YouTube right now. So we have some guests joining us. We know that some of you students have had some questions about what's happening with online school. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm Amanda. I'm an SPSW at Pathways Region Park, and I'm going to be co-hosting with my colleague, Halima. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi guys, I'm Halima. I'm a SPSW as well and a program facilitator for the Academic Support Program.
So we are going to start by introducing the people in the room. We might have one other person joining us soon. And then we're going to go through some questions that we've heard from you guys. So we're going to start with general questions, then we're going to get to questions for grade 12 specifically. Then we're going to talk about learning strategies. And then also, if you're following us if you're on the YouTube channel right now, at any time you can comment some questions. Please don't troll us, ask us real questions, and we will try to ask the people in the room. So I'm going to say a name and ask a question. So I will start with Mr. Michael Harvey. Could you introduce yourself and answer the question, what's the best recipe you've made during COVID?
Oh, thanks for the question. It's Michael Harvey. I'm the principal at Jarvis Collegiate and Native Learning Center. My best recipe is probably my craft dinner. My macaroni and cheese with a little bit of peas in it. It's very, very good. Sometimes tuna is nice. That's my favorite.
My question.
My drink is just water.
My question is directed to Jennifer Harvey. What do you look forward to the most to get to after social distancing is over?
I am looking forward to playing outside with lots of people, like with my running group or playing volleyball with the neighborhood kids. Just keep it up in the street. That's what I miss the most. So I'm looking forward to that.
And Jennifer, could you tell us your position and where you work?
Yes, I work at St. Joseph's College School for the Toronto Catholic District School Board, and I'm a student success teacher, and I teach the leadership class and learning strategies. That's me.
Thank you. Okay, in the room, we also have Miss Rebecca Tsingos. And I would like to ask you, what is your TV binge show right now?
Okay, well, hi, my name's Rebecca Tsingos. I'm one of the principals at Jarvis and at LC, and I would say my binge show right now is Ozark. Loving it, saving my last couple of episodes.
I've heard it's dark.
It's dark. But good.
My question is to Martha Beaudry. How late are you sleeping in every day? Or your kids, if you have any.
Hi, I'm Miss Beaudry, the head of guidance and careers at Jarvis. How late am I sleeping in? I don't sleep later than 6:30 because we have a dog that gets up at 6:30. So I'm up at 6:30, but I look forward to naps every so often to survive.
Okay, wow, Miss Beaudry, that was really early. So you're in the exact opposite schedule of most of our students who are going to bed at 6 a.m. and waking up at 5.
That's right. And I've talked to some who go to bed at 3 and get up at 3. So yeah.
Yeah, we're all coping differently here.
Yeah.
All right, so let's jump into these questions that we've had. These are all questions that we've heard from students of different grades. So as I said, we'll start in a general way. So one question that might be really hard for you to answer, I'm going to put this one. So who should we put it to? A hard question to answer. I will ask Mr. Harvey. A question we're asking is, how long is this going to go on? And will we have school in the summer?
I can't say when it's going to be over. May 4th is no longer the starting date for us. I think September will be the start again, but there is going to be summer school at some point. I don't know if it's going to be online or how it's going to run, but I think there'll be online stuff. That's the big thing with summer school. And I'm really hoping it happens for the kids to get caught up and not feel so far behind starting in September in the next grade or the next class. That's not so good. Summer school stuff at this point, I don't think anything's going to happen. Actual schools.
Okay. So we've just had Claudia join us, Claudia Escobar. Thank you for muting your mic. I was going to ask you, but could you first introduce yourself, what school board you're part of, what your role is, and let us know how late you think is too late to wear pajamas in the day.
I wear pajamas all day. So, so again, Claudia Escobar, Toronto Catholic District School Board, and I'm the Student Success Resource Teacher, the consultant.
Thank you so much. Okay, so we've started in on our questions. Yeah, if you could keep your mic muted until we ask you one, that would be great. And Mr. Harvey, just hearing the end of what you said, it was a bit of a struggle. So you said school would go into the summer, but what was the last part that you said? Could you repeat that?
I think the summer school is probably not in the school, but e-learning will happen. Like in the Toronto board, it's remote learning. So it won't be anything where kids go into a room to learn, stay at home and just doing stuff on the internet. I think that'll happen for sure. I just don't know when or how it's going to start.
Okay.
The board hasn't come up with those things yet, which is, it'll take time just to figure out the next steps.
Okay. And Claudia, Miss Escobar, would you like to add to that? Is that different in the Catholic School Board? Oh, you're still on mute.
To be very honest, we haven't had the conversation yet. And I've been working closely with our students success superintendent and guidance. But we're not there yet. We're still in the crisis mode, trying to support our grade 12 students in order for them to be able to graduate, right? And all the parameters that need to be put in place. Yeah.
So my next question is, some students are wondering, are we going to have exams, and what would that look like online, on an online format? I don't know if you want to answer, Mr. Harvey, or if I should just leave it open for everyone. Your microphone. You're unmuted.
At this point, what we've been told by the ministry is that we're not going to have exams at this time, but no thought's been put into it, but common activities have to take place. The schools have to think about that, and the teachers have to figure out how we're going to do this. The grade 12 kids, no exams for the midterm marks, and it's all going to be based on the March 13th mark that they had at that time. The new stuff can't drop the mark, but can increase it only. So if I had this grade like a 70 at March 13th, that's my grade. If it goes up, it goes to 85, no problem, but it can't drop below 70. I think that's really good for the kids right now. And the same thing with the kids in June, your mark can't drop below the mark you had on March 13th. And that's the public board regular, not the TCDSB, but TDSB. That's the rule we've seen so far. So, and I think it's good for the kids to not have to worry about the marks, because if you have a whole family at home, your parents have to work out of the place you're living. It's not so easy on the whole family and the kids. That's difficult. So I'm hoping it goes well, but that's what we've been told so far. So anybody else can jump in on that too, because it changes very, very quickly in the board.
So and from Toronto, sorry, go ahead.
No, please give the Catholic school version.
From Toronto Catholic perspective, they're diving into this a little bit deeper. And because, I mean, yes, flexibility is obviously key, because we don't know the circumstances that these kids are living under and what supports are in place, and you know the whole deal. we were just discussing with my pathways team that that's not necessarily going to be the case with Toronto Catholic. Yes, marks students are being assessed. Marks will, there will be some evaluation, a formative assessment and summative assessments. How that's going to exactly look like, we don't know. But we do want student engagement, student buy-in. So yes, that in itself leads to a whole bunch of problems. But again, they're not setting the rule right now that no, that kids can't fail. Not necessarily. There has to be some sort of participation from the student's point or from the student's part.
Thank you. Yeah, it's great if we go back and forth so that our students who are in the Catholic board will also get that information. So thank you so much. The next question is, we've heard from a few people, what if my teachers aren't getting back to me? Who should I talk to? So I've heard from some students, they're getting maybe delayed responses through email, or their teachers have set up Google Classrooms, but they're only getting a little bit of work from some teachers and a lot of work from other teachers, particularly for grade 12s, although we're asking this question for everyone. If they are not hearing back from their teachers or they're having trouble accessing their email, what should they do? And maybe I'll direct this question towards Ms. Singos. And then if one of you guys from either Mrs. Ridgway or Ms. Escobar could answer, that'd be great.
Okay, so at this point, every student received contact from their teacher, and parents should have received follow-up tool letting them know teachers had been out. If for any reason has not their teacher, they can be directly at their email if they know the teacher's last name at tdsb.ca. They can also be reaching out the vice principals, Ms. Fullen herself, the guidance counselor, those connections at school in the TDSB. Most teachers are using the Google format. Have set out students join. So right now, our school is reconciling students that have not contact or students that we've not been able to make contact with, to ensure nobody falls through the gap. Something that we have that any student that is not heard from anyone yet should be reaching out. As far as the amount of work that's being shared with teachers, by teachers, the government has made the mandate that 1.5 hours worth of work per course per week. And at our school, we're a full year school. And so we've actually continued with our block schedule, which allows for teachers to have Google Meets if they want to or need to for presentations and so forth. But at the same time, we need to recognize the need to be flexible. And so our teachers are posting assignments that meet the guide of 1.5 hours of work per course per week. And they're trying to give students that flexibility to complete that work when is good for them and their family. And in any instance, our teachers are communicating any expectations, due dates, and so forth through that platform.
Thank you for that question. To follow up, this next question kind of adds to that last one. What if students don't have access to reliable internet or computer usage, and do they have to prove it to teachers? So Jennifer Ridgway.
I can speak to that.
Yes.
So I know presently teachers at Toronto Catholic boards are informing their principals and vice principals the names of students who do not have Wi-Fi and computers. And Claudia can verify after this, but we are going to be rolling out computers with a Wi-Fi package on it. I don't know the specific details of it right now because we are just acquiring the names. So the schools are getting the names to the vice principals, who are then sending it to the board. And this is where students' friends can help people out, because if a student or a family doesn't have that access, perhaps their name is not on their list, and maybe they have a friend who they've contacted through some other means, and we can work together as a community that you can speak to your teacher and say, hey, this person is having some difficulties, and if you can let that teacher know another way to contact that student, that would be a real sense of community, us helping people, because we know where people are falling through the cracks and we don't know.
Does anyone want to add to those questions, either about teachers getting back or reliable internet usage? Otherwise, we'll move on to the next question.
For students in the TDSB, there had been a survey sent out, and right now students that families that had completed the survey indicating they needed devices, the board is in the midst of distributing those devices right now. There's another group of students that families had indicated they need devices and Wi-Fi access. And the board is also pulling together a package for those students, but it's taking a bit of time. First rollout is the devices, and then second rollout, I think, will be the devices with the Wi-Fi access. And that link for any families, if you're in need of a device and you have not yet requested one, that link is available on the TDSB homepage. Families can add information at any time to be added.
Thank you very much. So if you're a student watching and you have a friend that you know doesn't have internet access, then you know that you can help them out with that using your internet access to get them a computer. They could also call, actually, I don't know if they can't call, I don't think, or can they? Can they call anyone?
They can actually call the board's IT department.
Okay.
And it's on the board website, or just call it. That's important. And the parents all got letters about this also, but they can call us at the school and we can get in contact with them also. Tell them to phone us and tell the kids, if the teachers aren't responding to the students' emails or anything that's going on, call the school, call the vice principals or the principal, and we'll get hold of that teacher based on a phone number we have for them, because all the kids got to be supported. That's really important. That's huge.
Thank you very much.
We actually check our phones are internet connected, so we check our voicemails from home. So parents can, and students even, can call just the main number of the school and we'll get the message.
I have something to add. The teachers that are calling, at least for our board, they're calling from their home phones or their cell phones. And so we've been advised to block our numbers. And so I wonder sometimes when I'm calling, because my home phone number is blocked, if the parent or the student isn't picking up, which I understand. So, you know, people don't like getting robocalls or electronic calls, but be mindful at this time, maybe you want to pick that up and hang it up if it is in fact a robocall, but it might well be a teacher or someone from the school trying to reach you, but we're just blocking our personal numbers.
That is very true. And the idea is we tell the teachers, just leave a message. If the voicemail is set up on their phones, leave a voicemail message for them, letting them know what they should do to support it. Because that's hard. We've done it at Jarvis. We blocked the audio, the phone numbers being sent through, because that's scary, but it's all been blocked, which is good. But some of the parents won't pick it up, or the kids won't pick it up. So you're very, very true on that stuff. You have to just watch us on this. But we want to make sure all the kids are supported by the teachers. If there's issues in the classes, the teachers have to let us know. If there's a problem, then myself or the VPs will call the teacher at home to make sure it's going to be taken care of. Because that's craziness. It really is.
Quotable quotes by Michael Harvey. Thank you so much. Okay, so students, very key message here is make sure that you are checking your email. Make sure that you are picking up calls. I know you don't want to pick up those unknown numbers. I know you don't want to pick up those block calls, but it might be your teacher, okay? So definitely pick that up during this season, okay? Because if you think they haven't been in contact with you, maybe they have. And if you've changed your number or you've changed your email, you absolutely need to update the schools, okay? This is very school specific. So we're gonna move on to the next set of questions about more specifically grade 12s. So if you're graduating and you're stressed out, and we've heard from you, so we know you are stressed out. The first question, which I'm putting under the grads because it relates to them more, is what about night school credits? So if they've been relying on that credit, I'm going to direct this one to start with Miss Beaudry, and then if we could hear from others after that, that would be great.
So night school is continuing on. It's remote night school. All the students have been contacted, and I've spoken to some of ours actually, and they're back at it. It's less work, just like the and those marks, when they finish, the final mark will go to the universities, and night school continues, and it's a good option. They should treat it like their other courses and keep at it.
So the next question is, will I graduate this year? I'm going to direct it to Jennifer Ridgway, if you want to answer this. Will I graduate? People are stressed out. They want some confirmation.
My internet isn't so great right now, so maybe if you could pass it off to Claudia.
Claudia,
I think I'm cutting in and out right now, or someone else.
So okay, I'll answer this. So in terms of graduation, yes, I mean, formal walking across the stage graduation will obviously most likely not happen. But graduation, receiving your diploma because you've achieved your 30 credits, that's our main goal. That's our main focus. So priority is right now with our grade 12 students. And I know as we speak at Toronto Catholic, some documentation and some letters to grade 12 students and their parents will be going out in the next 24 hours. Highlighting to parents and to students that there's sort of a triage, for lack of a better word, system where the principal, guidance teachers, the vice principal, so all admin, student success teachers, and your special education teachers will ensure that every single grade 12 student is accounted for. So if they're at risk of graduating, if there's whatever concerns are coming up, if, for example, there's a SHISM credentials that need to be met, or just again, touching base regarding night school credits, all that is definitely going to, like, that's our number one priority at all the schools. And I'm assuming in Toronto district as well. Now, with respect to one thing, a piece of advice for grade 12s, and I think for all grades, but especially right now for grade 12s, is self-advocating. I think that's imperative. As a grade 12 student, you need to be connecting with your teacher. And if that doesn't happen, connecting with your principal, your guidance, your vice principal. And then if you do happen to connect with your teacher and you are continuing the learning through these different platforms, through Google Classroom, through D2L, then the self-advocating is essential, is key. You're in control right now. You're in the driver's seat. You need to ask the questions because you don't have your teacher now face to face. So I think that's my biggest piece of advice right now. And some sort of self-regulation too. If you have several classes, you're even taking night school, just have some sort of agenda, some sort of schedule to keep you on track. If you don't have, some of you may not have a parent that can do this for you and help you. And if you do, that's great. So, or even reach out to your student success teacher, reach out if you have an IEP to your special education teacher and see how they can support you as well, to make sure that you're successful to meet your credits, to meet graduation requirements.
Thank you so much for that point. I just want to emphasize, that's a really great point about advocating. And as you guys know, this is exactly what your SPSWs are also here for if you're struggling with that. So you advocate for yourself. And if you need a little bit of support about how to do that, you can also reach out to your worker. To follow up question, and I want to let the TDSB answer this question as well about graduates, but just another question to follow up is specifically students are wondering about the UAC dates for their marks. So because I think it's supposed to be end of April, and so they're concerned about their acceptance to university and also probably college as well. So just with what you were saying about Claudia, with about getting everything in and all that, what marks will be looked at by the universities at this point?
So again, in discussion, we will be submitting those April 23rd marks. So in our particular board, in Toronto Catholic, any assessment up to before March break, and including any assessments that that were happening currently, right after March break. So I mean, it's a huge learning curve for teachers. It's a huge learning curve for students. And again, flexibility is always the key. And I think that message is being sent out to all teachers and to their parents.
Thank you.
So
Jennifer, oh yeah,
in
go
the
ahead.
TDSB, the requirement for volunteer hours has been waived. So if you're a grade 12 student, have not yet submitted your 40 hours, that's okay. It's not going to be a hindrance. Also, if you have, if you were slated to write the OSSLT, the literacy test this year, and you were not able to, that will also be waived as a graduation requirement. The grade 12 marks that will be captured in OUAC are the April submissions. Schools have been asked to submit those marks, have them updated by, I think the 23rd was the original date, and now they've extended it a little bit. We've started our reporting period as of April 20th, so that students have a verification period of the few days beforehand to make sure that if anything was lost or if anything is missing, we can fill that gap. So grade 12 students should be thinking, what was my mark the day before we left for March break? Not my second term mark on my last report card, but include any evaluations up until March break. And then since we've been back in this remote learning experience, all students have the opportunity to raise that mark by perhaps submitting work that had been due before the break that maybe had not been done. Our teachers will be rescuing those assignments and capturing those marks. That's a priority. Teachers are also providing additional assessments and evaluations that provide students additional opportunities to raise their mark should they want to. But like Mr. Harvey mentioned earlier, the TDSB also wants to support our collective mental health. And so there will not be deductions since marks can't go. There's a great student aiming towards post-secondary to learn as much as you can, blocks you need for when you go to. And so it is that you keep work that's being done and recognize that it's a good thing. You're able to with your teacher and have those full opportunities to increase your mark without necessarily going down below it was before break.
Thank you for that. I have a question for the Catholic School Board and for Toronto School Board, if you guys both want to answer. It's a YouTube question, and a student is asking, are we going to get our fee back for graduation?
Ooh. I can't speak to that yet. I'm not saying no. I am not on the inner circle of that. It's probably case by case school, because even right now there's secretaries. I'm a swim coach and we can't even pay our swim fees because we're not in the building. So I know the priority right now is getting kids in the class, and I would invite you to send that question to your principal, and I'm sure that information will be sent in letters to the parents from the principal when they address that issue. Maybe Mr. Harvey has the best answer to that.
Your microphone is muted, Mr. Harvey.
Oh, just tell me the question one more time, because I just put a person on hold.
The question
The
was,
conference calls never end.
it's a YouTube question, and a student asked, are we going to get our fee back for graduation?
I believe the kids have already paid for their gown, which we haven't done yet. They get the money back because we use cash online nowadays. So it's just a thing through the system, get it back. And I think that's really important. That from myself, I think it's really important. I think other principals in the TDSB think it's important, but it's really, really key to the kids that come to Jarvis. The two different areas they come from, you gotta get their money back. That's the big thing. I hope we can do a graduation in the fall. That's really nice for the kids too. That will come back. Okay?
So is Ms. Beaudry here?
Nope.
I just wanted to make it clear that it hasn't been for sure. We haven't made a statement on graduation that it has been canceled. So for June, yeah, I guess, but we may still have something in the fall. It hasn't been, we haven't said it's a done deal for Jarvis.
Okay, thank you. So that might be school specific at this point. Like, so people might still be waiting at this point about your graduation fee. So it's about 6:05. So we're gonna ask a couple more questions and we're gonna wrap up soon. So I'm just gonna ask a learning strategies question. So in other words, what if I have no motivation? What if I'm terrible at online learning? What should I do? Do you guys have any advice? What can anyone speak to that? Yes, Jennifer, please.
I'll add my 2 cents. Person from, we had visitors from colleges and universities, and one of the spokespersons said, cooperate to graduate. And your best resource is your buddies right now, to call and create your virtual study groups and draw upon each other, because everyone feels lost. And even we, the teachers, are calling each other, trying to figure out this online, and are you doing this? And how do you do that? And that's what's motivating us to learn a lot. And I plead with you to reach out to your friends, and maybe I call out to the Great Pathways kids that are tuned in, that took the time to say, hey, I'm going to call 2 or 3 people and check in on them and say, hey, how can we do a check-in and make sure that we're doing this work together? You're your greatest resource, your buddies.
That's perfect. I'm sure some other people can speak to that. Does anyone else want to add? Silence in the house.
I totally agree. I 100% agree. Your buddies, people you know, people you're comfortable talking to, you've got to reach out to them. And if you're more comfortable sending an email to the guidance counselors, send it to us, and we'll try and we can set up phone conversations to try and motivate you or boost your spirits. But I really think talking to each other, helping each other, and or if someone knows someone's down, just send us an email and we'll try and reach out. It's hard enough to be motivated in the spring when you're at school, so you've got to really reach out and ask for help.
Awesome.
And just to add to that, all Pathway students, e-tutoring is available. We had a really interesting start, but right now we have e-tutoring. All the subjects that you needed help with in person is all available online. All of our tutors are available online, and all you need to do is make an appointment on our Instagram and you can have that support.
We're going to wrap up in a few minutes here. So if you're watching on the YouTube live stream, this is your chance to ask a few questions. If you have anything you really want to know, anything that was said, maybe you didn't hear it properly, maybe you're not clear, please ask that question right now. This is your chance to get it from the source. But Jennifer, Ms. Jennifer Ridgway, you wanted to say something else? You want to add to that?
Also, for the people using, I don't use D2L, I'm more of a Google Classroom person, I invite you, as soon as you're given a task in the assignment area, attach that document, post that question, put one line, just write something, even if it's copying down the question. Because with this new assessment model, anytime you engage online with the learning, it's evidence of what you know and your thinking. And so your process is going to really help the teachers put that number in at the end. And so don't think about doing all of your assignments to the side and then posting it. The joy of technology is they have process. You've started it, you have an idea, take a picture of that and post it for the people who have technology. For the people who don't, we hope to get there shortly.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Oh, in addition, and Jennifer, you just sparked something in me here. Just the idea of baby steps. You might be dealing with a lot of courses and a couple of assignments per course. You could only tackle a little bit at a time. So if your motivation is low, just start with one little task, get that out of the way. Once you finish that, move on to something else. So write it down, cross it out, you know, as an incentive, because people kind of like to cross things out. One other thing too, and one of the, I think the guidance counselor pointed out, you know, reaching out to guidance, reaching out to a caring adult. There might be someone in your school building, in your school, who you had a connection with. It could be your coach, it could be your music teacher, it could be your, I don't know, your science teacher. Reach out to that person as well, because they will then reach out to the people who can support you as well. So the proper support. So your friends are great to keep you motivated. Your own teachers are great to keep you motivated. And then if you have a connection with someone else, reach out to that particular person.
I was talking and I was muted. I said, thank you for that, Claudia. We have a question from YouTube. A student asks, when is the latest the university can accept an offer? Or ask an offer? Martha, do you want to answer that?
So the question is, when is the latest the university can give an offer? Like,
Give
when
an
would they?
offer.
Yeah, because they're waiting for their offers, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So I believe it's May. There isn't an exact date on the OUAC website. If they go to the OUAC website, the date is there, but it's sometime, it's the first week of May. Most offers go out, and then they expect a response in about 2 weeks after that. So, you know, they should hear in the beginning of May, and the exact date is on the OUAC website.
Perfect, thank you.
So if they're not hearing anything in June, if they're not hearing anything this April, it's fine. It's normal to have to wait.
Okay.
You can still get an offer, guys, don't worry. Okay, so are there any, as we're wrapping up here, any last things that you guys have heard that you just want to add for everyone, for the students to hear? Anything burning or important that's been left out that you want to mention before we sign off here?
I just want to tell everybody, don't give up. Just do what you can. Like Ms. Escobar was saying, don't give up. Just try to do whatever you can. Do a little bit of work for each subject and do not give up, because it's going to happen. And you know, chances are you're going to get your credits. Just don't lose hope. Keep pushing, pushing, pushing.
Guys, you got it from Miss Beaudry here first, okay? That's your motivational speech. This is going to be recorded. You can play that back as many times as you need to hear it.
We'll put it on our Instagram.
All right, thank you so much, everyone. So just to say for grade 12s, we are going to have another, we're going to promote a webinar. If you're more thinking and wondering about the post-secondary side of things, we're going to have a UT representative doing a webinar on Friday. So just look out for the link. She's not going to have all the information, but she's going to have some information. So if you want to hear more from that side, make sure you stay posted with that. Thank you so much to all of our guests. We really appreciate you joining us. It was great to see all of your faces and have all of your wisdom. And to all our students and parents and service workers joining us, thank you for coming, and feel free to reach out if there's other things you want us to address or other live streams you want us to do. So thank you, everyone.
Thanks, guys.
Bye, live stream.
Bye.